What's going on, guys? JSGC here, back again for another video. Today we're going to be doing another Manchester City transfer update. Before I do crack on with this video, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, do subscribe to my channel. Remember, daily Manchester City transfer updates coming for you guys from January 1st to keep you guys up to date on YouTube every single day with all the latest Manchester City transfer news. So do subscribe, it is free. Social media links there in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. 200 likes is the aim. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And finally, I want to say a big thank you to Football Prizes, today's video sponsor, where you can go and check out and have the potential to win 2 hospitality tickets to Manchester City's big Premier League game against Nottingham Forest on Wednesday, 4th of December 2024. So do go and check it out. Links and details there in the descriptions. Tickets do cost £9.95 to enter. However, there is only 65 tickets available, which means there is a good chance that you could potentially win this prize. So do go and check that out. There is also a couple of instant prizes to be won, including a signed Manchester City shirt from Joško Vardiol. So do go and check it out, and a big thank you to Football Prizes for sponsoring this video. So we've got no ins to talk about. Pretty quiet actually on the ins at this moment in time. I presume that means that Manchester City are either not thinking about the ins, or Manchester City are just currently having a little look around the market before deciding on whether they want to make a move for any players. So we do have one out story, and find this very interesting. Comes in the form of an update on James McAtee. Now, Alan Nixon has said that West Ham want to sign James McAtee from Manchester City. Now, Jacob Steinberg has also confirmed that West Ham are interested in signing McAtee in January, but he also says that Fulham are interested in signing him as well. Now, Alan Nixon has said that West Ham fear losing Lucas Paquetá, and because of that, they want a replacement in the form of James McAtee should he decide to leave, which Alan Nixon has said that Manchester City are believed to be looking for £20 million for James McAtee if we are to let him go in the January transfer window, which has been echoed by Jacob Steinberg as well, that Man City have told both the interested parties of Fulham and West Ham that they want £20 million for McAtee should they come calling in January. Now, I imagine with how stretched thin Manchester City's squad is, that they will want to try and keep hold of McAtee for the remainder of the season. I don't really see any point in loaning him out. I think if McAtee is to leave Manchester City, it's more than likely going to be on a permanent transfer, which I think £20 million, as long as we do put back an affordable buyback clause and a good sell-on fee, I wouldn't have too many problems with that. But our squad's already stretched thin, so to lose McAtee, I think, would be stretching the squad even thinner, and not replacing him, I think, would be a big mistake for Manchester City. And being able to replace a high quality young player like McAtee in the January transfer window it's going to be very difficult, and probably would be easier for Man City to do this transfer in the summer, and allows us to assess the squad a little bit better than making this deal happen in January. But if a good offer comes in with good terms for Manchester City, I can see maybe Man City saying yes, and then just deciding to keep the likes of Jacob Wright and also Nico O'Reilly around the first team squad, because let's look at the facts here. James McAtee is, even with an injury crisis, struggling to work his way into the Manchester City first team squad. So we'll see if he does get more first team opportunities. Wouldn't surprise me if this is true. Wouldn't surprise me if Man City do end up selling McAtee in the January transfer window. If we do, though, expect to keep the likes of O'Reilly and Wright around the first team squad, maybe even another young player being called up to the City first team squad, because how do you replace a young player? You're just going to replace him with another young player, and with City having one of the best academies in the world, it would make sense to be able to do so. But taken away, because McAtee is a first team player from the first team squad, means surely Man City have got to be doing some kind of business in January when it comes to the incomings, and in particular looking at central midfielders, because it's just becoming incredibly obvious that City need to do that bit of business. Now, moving on to the contracts, the next bit of business that I'm expecting Man City to have confirmation of before the January transfer window is an update on Pep Guardiola. Now, Football Insider have said that Pep is 99% there when it comes to signing a new new deal at Manchester City, which is very positive. He plans to sign a 12-month extension at Manchester City, so a 12-month extension on top of his current deal, which if he signs, that means that Pep Guardiola's contract would run out in the summer of 2026 rather than the summer of 2025. Now, Relevo over in Spain have said that Manchester City do hope to have a decision by Pep Guardiola by the time that Christmas Day, Boxing Day comes around. It's still undecided, but the decision coming in December does marry up with his previous couple of times at Man City, where Pep has ran his contract into his final year and he makes a decision before we hit the January winter transfer window, whether it's going to be he decides to sign a contract extension, whether it's going to be a longer term deal, a 2 or 3 year extension or a 1 year extension, or he decides to leave. I'm expecting that to come at some point next month. Now, we're looking at the next 4 to 5 weeks for this to become clearer for Manchester City. I think my instincts here are telling me with what is being said by Football Insider to be true, which is Pep Guardiola will sign a 12-month extension. It'll keep Pep Guardiola at Manchester City if he completes both this season and next season for 10 years, a nice round number, and also marries up with quite a few international jobs potentially becoming available after the 2026 World Cup, which would allow Pep Guardiola to potentially take charge of a team right from the off. It could, because apparently Pep Guardiola does want to manage an international team next, and he wants to lead a team into the World Cup. That isn't going to happen for the 2026 World Cup, but he will be looking at 2030 World Cup, which means if he does sign an extension, then walking away in either 2026 or 2027 would make sense. And I think for the long-term kind of thing I'd be looking for here, I think if City could get Pep on a 2-year extension, we've done very well. I reckon it's probably going to be 12 months, and my feeling is I think that'll be that. I think Pep Guardiola will do his 10 years and he'll walk away, and you know, that's better than Pep Guardiola walking away at the end of this season. But I'm not going to ignore the fact that Manchester City do face a bit of instability when Pep Guardiola runs his contract down to what we're looking at is months rather than years. That by the time we get to around this time next year, we're just faced with the same situation again. So I prefer for it to be a bit clearer. I think if Pep Guardiola does sign a 12-month extension, I'd be delighted with that. And I think I'd prefer for Pep Guardiola to say, I've signed a 12-month extension and that's that. I am leaving Manchester City in the summer of 2026. So then we know where we stand. We can start to plan for the future. We get a good year of Pep Guardiola and Hugo Viana working together, and we start to work towards that transition. Because if the decision comes from Pep Guardiola in December that he decides to walk away from Manchester City, then really we need to be planning for this transition to happen about happening in the new year in January of 2025. So it's all about time frame. What are we looking at? It's looking like Pep Guardiola is going to sign a contract. I don't think it's going to be long term, but having Pep Guardiola for a year long is better than not having him for next season. However, I'd prefer for some long-term stability for Manchester City, but I'd also prefer for some communications and for things to be really clear. If it is going to be a 12-month extension, I'd like Pep Guardiola just to say, I've signed a 12-month extension, I'm going to do 10 years at Manchester City, and that's me done. No more new contracts. I walk away from City in the summer of 2026. We all know where Pep Guardiola stands, and then we can start to properly build for the future rather than year-on-year rolling contracts. You're left in limbo. Are they going to be here next year? Are they not going to be here next year? Doesn't do the club the world of good. So knowing things and being able to plan in advance, I think, is a good way to go about it. That's my solution. Man City might be very different. We'll have to wait and see. So there we go. That has been today's transfer update. If you did enjoy this video, please do leave a thumbs up. 200 likes is the aim. It does let me know that you are enjoying the videos. Also, don't forget to subscribe as well if you're new around here. Press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on. Social media links, they're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Email also in the description too. If you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries, do let me know your thoughts as well in the comments below. And finally, do go and check out Football Prizes, today's video sponsor, where you could be in with a chance of winning 2 hospitality tickets to Manchester City's big Premier League game against Nottingham Forest at the Etihad Stadium on Wednesday, 4th of December. So do go check that out. Links and details there in the description. And a big thank you to Football Prizes for sponsoring this video. And I'll see you all again real soon. We're nearly done and dusted with the international break, so we'll have regular content coming back for you guys towards the end of this week. So I'll see you for that. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.